Grandpa! Grandpa, what is this?
Where did you find this?
In the fields.
Come along. I need to show you something. I never told you about my past, have I? Josiah, you're still young now. But one day you'll learn more about my life. I did many bad things. I used to worship false gods instead of Jehovah. I even brought idols into the temple. I upset Jehovah very much. And he disciplined me. I begged Jehovah to forgive me.
Did he forgive you?
Yes, his mercy is great. Now, these are the words of Jehovah's prophet Isaiah. All who form carved images amount to nothing, and their cherished objects will be of no benefit. As their witnesses, they see nothing and know nothing. Now, I want you to read these words down here about a man who cuts down a tree. Let's see what he does with it.
Half of it he burns up in a fire. With that half, he roasts the meat that he eats, and he is satisfied. He also warms himself and says, "Ah, I am warm," as I watch the fire. Is that bad, Grandpa?
No, my son, but let's see what he does with the other half.
But the rest of it he makes into a god, into his carved image. He bows down to it and worships it. He prays to it and says, "Save me, for you are my God." That's wrong.
Why is it wrong, Josiah?
Because it's not Jehovah. It's just a tree.
How does Jehovah feel about doing something like that?
Jehovah doesn't want us to serve any other gods?
Right. Besides, can any other god listen to our prayers?
No, only Jehovah.
And Jehovah wants to hear your prayers, Josiah.
I always pray to him.
Pray to him many times a day from your heart. That shows you love him and want to be his friend. If you make a mistake, pray to Jehovah to forgive you.
Even for 100 mistakes?
Even for 100.
1,000?
Yes.
1,000,000?
Even that many. If you pray to Jehovah to forgive you and you really keep trying to do what is right. Josiah, your grandfather needs to rest.
finish telling me the story.
Where was I?
The angel.
Right. Then, Jehovah's angel came down and he destroyed 185,000 of Sennacherib's troops.
Really?
Yes. King Hezekiah learned that we can always trust in Jehovah.
I like going to the temple with you.
Zephaniah? You shouldn't fill the boy's head with such stories.
The king told me to take Josiah to...
I know where you're going. And I don't care what my father told you. The boy isn't...
Isn't what?
Father, what are you doing out of bed?
Josiah wanted to go to the temple. I had Zephaniah take him along ahead of me. You may not want to join us, but you will not prevent Josiah from going.
As you wish.
Enan, this is a good one. Who should I be this time? I want to be King Solomon. I was thinking I could be King David.
Came in as is asking for him.
Where's Josiah?
He's on his way, my lord.
Grandfather!
Josiah. My son. Listen to me.
Oh, Grandfather, you have to get better. I'm afraid of being alone.
You're not alone. Jehovah is with you, and so is your cousin, Zephaniah. Jehovah is holy, and you must serve him the way he wants us to, and only that way. The sacrifices and celebrations at the temple, they help us be friends with Jehovah. I tried to restore pure worship, but the people still sacrifice on the high places. Jehovah's temple, we've neglected it. How happy the people were when they worshiped Jehovah the right way. Jehovah's temple and worship can be like that again. Look at me. Serve Jehovah, Josiah. All other gods are powerless. Jehovah is with you. How happy the people were when they worshiped Jehovah the right way. Jehovah's temple and worship can't be like that again.
Josiah!
Father, that hurts.
How's business?
The Phoenicia models are beautiful, and they're selling briskly, Ben Matten.
Excellent. We're making a bigger profit on them, too. They will bring blessings from Baal. I can see the crops flourishing already.
Jehovah doesn't like this.
Stop it! We need the help of all the gods, not just Jehovah.
That's not what Grandfather taught me. He said all other gods are powerless.
Lower your voice. Your grandfather knew Topheth better than anyone. You, my son, can become a mighty man with Jehovah's help. And Baal's.
That's not right. That's not right. If we're going to worship Jehovah, then we need to go to the temple. Grandfather said
Never
that—
mind what your grandfather said! He's been dead for 2 years. You are not to speak of him again, understand?
Zephaniah! Let's get out of here.
Enid.
No.
King Amy?
Josiah.
Take it. Don't make a scene.
Other gods are powerless. Let me go!
Not here. Not standing before Baal.
Well, if this year Baal gives us no rain, we will certainly know why. What the boy did today was blasphemous.
What do you expect? He spent all of his time with my father.
He must be punished.
Hold your tongue if you want to keep it! You may be a priest of Baal, but do not forget who's king here.
I most certainly will not.
Good. Now go. And take that with you.
No. It will remain here for you to reflect upon, my lord the king.
Somebody's murdered the king!
Josiah, you're not alone. Jehovah is with you. And so is your cousin, Zephaniah.
Long live the king!
Anan. My lord, the king.
Zephaniah, prophet of Jehovah, so good to see you too. My king, I know you must feel so overwhelmed by all this. I will truly miss your father. He was a good, tolerant man who allowed everyone to worship as they wished. You know, your father consulted with me regularly on very important matters.
Josiah? Can we still shoot arrows sometimes? Maybe.
We'll leave you, my lord. Again, my sincerest condolences for the loss of your father. I'm here whenever you need me.
Okay, let's try again. Keep your hand steady, like this. Remember, don't focus on the arrow, focus on the target.
Like this?
Good. You've improved. Enan, I'd almost given up on you. We're almost done.
Enan,
Let's see who can hit center first.
There's no contest. You have more time to practice.
I have to practice, so I can defeat Jehovah's enemies.
The history of the kings teaches us much about good and bad. When we carefully study their lives, we learn that
we need to love Jehovah and hate what is bad. Yes, we know. But why does it matter? Were most kings bad anyway?
that's true. Some were. They didn't trust in Jehovah, and they didn't draw close to him. When the king does not search for Jehovah, everyone suffers, even the good people. All the more reason to learn from their mistakes. Do you understand what kind of influence a king has?
I think so. My grandfather was a great man.
My
but,
father says that King Manasseh may have been a little brutal, but he was effective and he was tolerant. He gave the people many freedoms.
Enan, having freedom means having responsibility. The responsibility...
Here we go again.
The responsibility to choose who we will serve, Jehovah or other gods.
My father says that after the Assyrians released Manasseh, worshipping only one god weakened him. And he started ruling like an old woman.
That's not true. My grandfather learned the hard way that Jehovah is the only true God, and you just insulted him.
My father simply sees the mistakes your grandfather made.
Your father should keep his views to himself.
How can you say that? Your father trusted him, and you should too. Besides, you can be loyal to Jehovah and to Baal, Malcolm, or any other god at the same time.
You don't honestly believe that.
I do. Huh.
Your father keeps confusing people.
So, are you telling me I should disrespect him? What about the proverb that says, listen to your father who caused your birth?
Enan, we must respect our parents. But all of us, including our parents, owe our lives to Jehovah. If we just go along with our parents in doing something Jehovah hates, aren't we honoring them more than Jehovah?
You just make me so mad. My grandfather was a great man, and you insult him? Zephaniah is a prophet. You must listen to him.
Prophets come and go. He's not even old enough to be a real prophet. What is he? 25 at the most.
And why do we only need to worship Jehovah? People worship lots of gods.
Be careful what you say around Josiah. His over-righteous spirit may one day turn dangerous. You need to help him be more balanced, reasonable.
How? Zephaniah says he has a spirit like David.
Unfaithful David, who stole another man's wife. What is it? Talk to me.
What if Josiah's right?
Right about what?
What if there really is only one true God?
Son, Josiah doesn't see the bigger picture. His grandfather did before he weakened.
What can I do?
Talk to him. Help him to be a good king. Tolerant, like Manasseh was. Here's what you can tell him.
Josiah? I just wanted to apologize. I shouldn't have spoken to you like that yesterday.
It's all right. I forgave you
I
already.
don't want any problems between us. It's just, what if you're wrong? What if Baal worship is important? Think about it. Baal is the god of the life-giving rains. And your father and grandfather sacrificed on the high places. But what if Baal cuts off the rains because you don't? The crops would die and the people would starve. And then they would revolt against you. I know how you feel about Jehovah, but isn't it better to offer the other sacrifices too, just in case?
Why would I worry about that when it's only Jehovah who can control the weather? Not some false rain god. Don't you remember King Solomon wrote all the streams?
All the streams flow into the sea, yet the sea is not full. To the place from which the streams flow, there they return, so as to flow again.
That's right, just as Jehovah designed. We studied that scroll together.
Well, some people say the scrolls have been altered. Maybe the gods are trying to
Do you
tell us
remember
that.
when we were little? We would play in the fields.
Of course.
You always wanted to be King Solomon. Jehovah gave Solomon wisdom and riches. But do you also remember the end of the story? His wives inclined his heart to follow other gods. His heart wasn't complete with Jehovah like David's was. I don't want to make that same mistake.
What are you drawing?
It's the temple. My grandfather told me how beautiful the temple was when people would worship Jehovah properly. He said it could be that way again. I'll tell you what I intend to do as king.
You don't understand. Josiah plans to tear down all the high places.
Oh, I understand, all right. When his extremist ideas become the law of the land, there will no longer be any joy, no tolerance, no freedom of worship, only narrow-minded rules and oppressed people. Do you understand that? This is not a good sign.
Jehovah is holy. And you must serve him the way he wants us to. And only that way.
You, my son, can become a mighty man with Jehovah's help. And Baal's.
When the king does not search for Jehovah, everyone suffers. Even the good people. Even the good suffers. The good people.
What if you're wrong? Isn't it better to offer the other sacrifices too? Just in case? What if you're wrong?
Serve Jehovah, Josiah. All other gods powerless.
Oh, Jehovah,